Hello, my name is Sarah Call, and I'm the Academic Success and Retention Specialist here at Upper Iowa University. Today, we'll be talking about plagiarism in this workshop. So, to start, let's go with some definitions. Plagiarism is the use or close imitation of the language, creative works, or thoughts of another author without authorization, and the representation of them as one's own original work. So, for example, that could be saying that you wrote Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven. Edgar Allan Poe wrote that poem. You did not, you try to pass it off as your own. That is, in essence, plagiarism. Paraphrase is a restatement of a text or passage, giving the meaning another form. Rewording. Paraphrasing itself is not bad, but it is kind of verges into plagiarism if you do not have citations or references. Intellectual property refers to creative thought, patents, copyright material, and trademarks. So you can also plagiarize intellectual property. So you did not invent the Scrub Daddy, right? That was, or you more than likely did not invent the Scrub Daddy, I suppose. But if you were to claim it as your invention, that could be taking a patent, a trademark, or a copyright, however it's categorized in the business sense of things, right? But you did not do it. You tried to claim it as your own. Bad. So Upper Iowa University does have policies regarding academic misconduct and plagiarism. We have some stuff if you'd like to pause and read here, found on page 32 of the academic catalog. Also on the Upper Iowa website under policies and reports. So you would go to About, Policies and Reports, scroll down, we go to Academic Affairs Policy, Policy 107 here, right? This one deals with cheating, academic dishonesty, and plagiarism. I won't read through this entire thing right here, right now. You can look at that on your own. But basically, we have the level of severity of the offense, examples, UIU action, student consequence, and information for the appeal process. So make sure you take a look at that. It's always good to know your policies. Let's see if it'll take me back to my presentation. There we go. So some overview of the types of plagiarism, I suppose. So the most common one being copy or cloning, so submitting another's work word for word as one's own, basically copy and pasting. The second most common being Control C, so copying significant portions of a text from a single source without alterations. So then we also have find and replace, so changing keywords and phrases but retaining the essential content of the source. So a lot of computers have this function where you can find a word. So say you wanted to isolate all the word, like say it had cat, right? Find all the references of cats, and then you change that to dogs. That's find and replace. And it just kind of goes down the line here. And you can also find more about this on turnitin.com. So next we're going to kind of dive into some helpful resources to help you avoid plagiarism as well as helping you in your research. So first place we're going to start here is the library's main page. How you can get there is you go to academics here, scroll all the way down to library, and see here we are. And so on the Fayette campus, right, the library has a physical building that you can access, but it also has a plethora of online resources. So let's see here. We can go to the archives and look at some things about the university itself, the history there. We also have a research guide, right? So say you need help with APA citation, because there's different forms of citation. Avoiding plagiarism, here we go. So the library has put together this here. Some consequences, so it mentions some policy stuff, how to avoid plagiarism, more on paraphrasing and direct quotes, providing proper citations. So typically what you guys will see are APA, MLA, or Chicago. Depends on what sort of area you're in. You might, do a lot of APA if you're in psychology, sciences, education. And we also have some guides that are in depth below here. Let's see. Another good resource, oh, and here's all of their contact information over here. Another good resource is the UIU Writing Center. So they have writing consultants that you can meet with, schedule in person or via Zoom if you wish, who can also help you in your writing, in your citations, help you not plagiarize, essentially. So let's see, back to the library. Let's find, go back to the main web page here. And so a lot of, the website, there's just a lot of clicking around. Here you can search databases. So if I went too quick there, library main page, search articles, okay? And here we have a bunch of free databases that you are able to access for your researching needs, right? A popular one is EBSCOhost, Gale, JSTOR, and each database looks different. But these are going to have peer-reviewed articles. A lot of your assignments may require that instead of just Googling, on fun little like personalityjunkie.com, right? Actual published articles that have been peer-reviewed by experts. And so academic search, elite, continue. And so I can search articles, type in cat, see what comes up. So here we have a whole bunch of research articles and such related to the word cat. Now, there are other ways to search things. I really recommend getting in touch with the library if you want to, if you need help researching and getting exactly what it is you need for your project or paper. So next, we're going to go to another resource that we have here called plagiarism.org. Pretty easy to remember. 4 tips to easily avoid plagiarism. So understand what's expected. Start with the assignment instructions and grading criteria. So make sure you have a clear understanding of what is being asked of you in an assignment. How much quotations are you allowed to use? Is there a possibility of incorporating your previous work? Because even if you reference something, or if you are not allowed to write a paper, maybe like you wrote one 3 years ago, and you want to dig it up and use it again for a different class, even though it may be related, that's still plagiarizing because you were taking something that you have written, put down on paper before, and using it again. So if you do that, you would need to also cite yourself, which can be a little awkward, but them's the rules, as they say. Make sure you're collecting credible sources. So as we saw here with our databases, these are credible sources. I wouldn't rely on Wikipedia for research. Oh, let me go back to plagiarism.org. Right. Pay attention to domain names. So highly credible sources have edu.gov.ac.org. But be mindful, some organizations can own edu websites and mislead you. So make sure you're kind of looking closely. Articles should contain titles, dates, and author names, right? So all of the information you would need to write a proper citation or, make your reference page. The overall look and feel of the website should be clear of spammy banners, targeted ads, blurred pictures, and other clickbait. So credible research sites will not have a lot of those crazy little ads running. But yeah, step 3, make notes, plan, and structure efficiently. So basically, best way to avoid plagiarism is to have a plan, because plagiarism often occurs when you are in a time crunch, panic mode. Oh crap, I need to get this done, so I'm just going to copy and paste and throw this here. So if you plan ahead, get organized, you are less likely to do that. And when in doubt, lastly, cite. So, if you use an image from somewhere, cite where you got the image from. If, you aren't sure if it needs a citation, when in doubt, cite it. It's better to oversight than to undercite, because if you do not cite something properly, your instructor could assume that you were engaging in academic dishonesty. And as we saw from earlier, that is a consequence you do not want. You do not want that on your record. So please make sure you are planning effectively, citing. Turnitin does have an app here, Draft Coach, I believe. Is this Turnitin? Yes, it is Turnitin. So usually Turnitin is a software used by a lot of instructors. It may be incorporated into your course shell, but you submit a paper and it will run it through and see if it is like anything else it has ever encountered. So say you tried to pass off somebody's paper as your own, it will flag that. It will know like, hey, we've seen this paper before. This is plagiarism. So say you want to make sure that you are not committing plagiarism. There is now a draft coach where you don't have to turn in the assignment for real. This will just kind of run it through, turn it in, make sure there's no red flags, and then you could formally submit that assignment if you wish. So that's another useful tool. Let's see, any other resources I'm missing? Oh, Grammarly. So Upper Iowa University does have some Grammarly accounts. Clicking that didn't really take me anywhere interesting, but Grammarly is basically like a souped up autocorrect, but also it'll look at sentence structure and tone. But you have to be careful not to necessarily take its advice always, because sometimes the way you may have written something was intentional. It'll just give you suggestions. It might say like, hey, you're using a passive voice here. Do you want to use a passive voice? But you can get the Grammarly Premium for free through UIU by, let's see here, let me go down. We're gonna go back to the website, academics, okay? Academic support services. So this is where a lot of wonderful things live. We're gonna go back to the Writing Center page. And if you email writingcenter@uiu.edu and request your free Grammarly Premium, they will grant it to you and you can have that downloaded on your computer. So with all of these resources, you can avoid plagiarizing things. So your education is your responsibility. Make sure you take the time to do some educational care along with your self-care. So, and look through tools, read through them, play with tools, right? Let's see here. What else? Lastly, but most importantly, ask questions. So if you aren't sure, right, there's your instructor, there's myself, there's everybody else here in academic success, there's the library, writing center, student accessibility services. I'm going to say the library again. So if you aren't sure where to start, you can reach out to me, or you can reach out to the library or the writing center, and we would all be happy to help you avoid plagiarizing your papers. So that is all. Thank you for listening to this recording and have a wonderful day.